Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Ryan Giggs, Manchester United manager. Now bear with me with this one, there is going to be a bit of an explanation from my point, but first of all, I want to say it's in the papers again today that Louis van Gaal is apparently going to stay at Manchester United for another year. The be-all and end-all for me personally, and I think for a lot of people involved with the United Stand and you, the viewer as well, is that Louis van Gaal, whatever happens, whoever comes in, has got to go. There's a reason for that, I'll come on to that in a moment, but unless the club really likes the thought of losing money, they are absolutely mad to keep Van Gaal, even if we do get top four, because the fans are bored, the club looks tired and bored, the players look bored. There's a lack of interest, and they've got to change it. They've got to change things. They've got to bring the passion and excitement back to Manchester United, and there's only one way of doing that, and that's Louis van Gaal. We put it out on a poll the other day, would you keep Louis van Gaal if it meant us getting top four? About 75% of you said yes. To be honest, I think that's short-termism. I think Louis van Gaal in the Champions League with Manchester United, we've had a glimpse of it this year, it's a total waste of time. It would be better off being out of it for a year, getting a new manager in and starting again properly. I think another year under Van Gaal, no matter what, is a big step backward. That's me personally, but I'm talking Ryan Giggs as manager, and there's a point to this. I have said I want Jose Mourinho as manager. I only made that decision at Christmas because of the dire situation Manchester United were put in. I think we're in the last chance saloon. I should copy that, write that word. I use it all the time now. Jose Mourinho, throughout his history, every club he goes to wins the title in the first 2 years. Manchester United need that desperately. That is why I think Jose Mourinho should be Manchester United manager. Simply because we are in that last chance saloon now, where one more bad mistake. It's already, people forget, it's already 3 years of not fighting for the title. We say we don't want to be Liverpool, but the years are stacking up quite quickly. And if we stay with Van Gaal or we don't get Mourinho, then it can very quickly turn into 6-10 years and we're off the cliff face forever. What I want to say about Ryan Giggs though is, and the reason this is called Ryan Giggs Manager, because it is a video about Ryan Giggs being Manchester United manager, because you've got to look at the other side. Well, I do, obviously. The United Stand is the channel that we say is about fan opinion. And you can't just say Louis van Gaal out, Jose Mourinho in. And you've got to look at the other side. That's a responsibility we have to take on. So over the last few days, and what started it for me was the Everton game on Sunday. We win the game 1-0. Now, Van Gaal, to be fair to Van Gaal, could do that every week and win us the title. Personally, I don't want that. I don't like that sort of football. We won on Sunday. I'm happy Manchester United won. But like a lot of you have been tweeting over the last few days, it's put you to sleep football. It's 2 shots on target in the whole game. It's side to side against a poor Everton side. It was boring and we scored because of a mistake by their defender. It wasn't nice to watch. You could get that every week under Van Gaal if things had gone right for him and he could have won the title and gone, look at me, I'm brilliant. That's what you get under Van Gaal. What made me think about the weekenders though, what's the trade-off with Jose Mourinho? Yes, he comes in. I think he'll win us the title. I do think we've got to get him because of the state we're in. But the football might just be as bad as it was on Sunday. And that got me thinking. Manchester United, the United way, the history, the way we've played, the exciting way we play. Is Mourinho really going to do that? Now, I'm not saying Mourinho shouldn't be the manager. But this is where I start to think, well, you know what, Ryan Giggs, how many press conferences does he do? It's always Van Gaal. How much say does he actually have with Van Gaal? How much was Giggs thrust onto Van Gaal when he was given the job? Moyes, I know he stood next to him. We don't know about Giggs, and Giggs would be a massive gamble as Manchester United manager. But But I understand what I'm saying is, what I understand is the fantasy that people want with Giggs. I understand why people want Giggs, because you know what? I'm going to be honest. If somebody could give me the blueprint of what's going to happen and everything's exactly the same results-wise and winning the title in the next 2 years as Mourinho and Giggs, I'll take Giggs every single way because he's a Manchester United legend. He knows the club inside out. I think with Giggs you'll get Scholes, you'll get Butt, you might even get Phil Neville. I mean, that is a fantasy that I would buy into and I would love to happen. I would love to have United players that have come through the youth system, that know the club like the back of their hand, managing our club, getting us back to where we want to be, playing the United way. I'm not against Giggs in that sense. And I know people say, oh, you're a hypocrite because you've been saying Mourinho for so long, you don't want Giggs as manager. I don't want Giggs as manager. I'm not saying I want Giggs as manager. What I'm saying is, if you can offer me that fantasy of it working, I would take it. But the problem is, they've made 3 years of such bad decisions. Moyes was a disaster. Van Gaal's been a disaster. The next appointment, we've got our back against the wall essentially. We can't afford a risk. It has to be Mourinho. But what I'm saying is, we might get Mourinho, I hope we do get Mourinho because Van Gaal has to go. But if we get Mourinho and the football is bad like it was on Sunday, even if we're top of the league by 20 points, I'll still be here on the United stand saying, this is not the United way. This is not the way we should play. And I think there is a responsibility. There is a minority who want Giggs, and there is a responsibility as fans to actually not be so blasé about it and actually think it through. Mourinho could come in and get us playing great football and we can win the league and that'd be great. And that's what I want to happen. But he could come in and Premier League proven, get us the results, but be very negative. And I don't think the majority of United fans would like that. I think we'd like it because it's better than Van Gaal, but I don't think we would like it. When I look at Giggs, I will say it again. If I knew Giggs could come in, get us playing entertaining football, challenging for the title, rejuvenate that side, bring Paul Scholes in, Nicky Butt, Phil Neville, I'll buy the ticket to that party any day of the week, and I will do. So I'm not saying I want Ryan Giggs as manager, but what I'm saying is I would take Giggs over Van Gaal, and I don't know whether that's been put out there. So I put questions to you. Do you want Jose Mourinho as manager if the football's going to be boring? Yeah, we'll win. We will win things under Mourinho. I will say that we will win things, but the football could be as boring as it is under Van Gaal. Would you want that, or would you rather we went for Giggs and gave it a go, took that risk? I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think we've got to go with Mourinho. But would you keep Van Gaal if it's a choice just between keeping Van Gaal and Giggs, and Mourinho's never going to come? Where do you go with that? Because I go Giggs. I do go Giggs. It's a massive risk, but I've thought about it. If you get Giggs, you get Scholes. Scholes, I love what he's got to say. If you get Scholes, you get Nicky Butt, who's already doing great things at the club anyway. And I think Phil Neville might come back. Giggs probably isn't ready, but I think there's a bigger question out there, and that bigger question is, you can all want Mourinho, and I want Mourinho, but I want Mourinho because he'll win us the title. That is it. He'll get us back challenging for the title. But will he get us playing good football? Will he use the youth? I don't know. I think that's a separate argument. But Giggs as Manchester United manager, let's not write it off is what I'm saying. I think he gets a lot of bad press and I think it's unfair. He is a player that's come through. He's a legend as a player and he knows the club inside out. And people like Sir Alex Ferguson who've been getting a lot of stick for backing that Giggs thing. Just take a step back. I mean, I'm massive about fan opinion. I think you get the best opinion from fans and that's why we do this. But let's not be blasé about it. Let's think about the bigger picture. Mourinho, I still believe we've got to get him. And I still, 100%, if we can't keep Van Gaal, we're in massive trouble. He has to go. But if it's Van Gaal goes and we get Giggs, I still think it's an improvement. And I just think also, let's not turn on Giggs. Who knows what he could do? He never does press conferences, like I say. He doesn't get involved. I think Van Gaal's a dictator. I think Giggs is in a difficult position. We don't know what he can do. Personally, if he came in with Scholes and Butt and Neville, I would back him to the hilt. And I think that is an improvement than Van Gaal. And that is what I'm saying here, is that let's not turn on Giggs and the class of 92. I think they've got a lot to offer the club, and it's a fantasy dream that I would love to come true. The only reason I'm going Mourinho is because we're 3 years without challenging for a title. We need to get back up there by hook or by crook, and Mourinho will do it. But the big warning is, the football, and it got me thinking on Sunday, the football could be exactly the same as it was on Sunday, where we win games 1-0, 2-0, but the football's boring. Would you be happy with that? So I'll throw them questions to you. That's why we've done this video today. 1, would you take Giggs over Van Gaal? 2, would you be happy with Jose Mourinho winning his games every week but playing football like it was on Saturday? Because I think when you search deep into your Manchester United heart, you will say no, you want entertaining football. And I think Giggs will have a go at that. And I'm not saying Giggs, I'm just saying let's start thinking about it a bit more, because it's not black and white. Life isn't like that. And we can all go Jose Mourinho, and even I do want Mourinho, I've said it for a long time. But the big thing is Van Gaal's got to get sacked. But let's just think about it a little bit more. If Giggs could come in and win us the title like Mourinho and bring the players in, I'd take Giggs every day, because that's what Manchester United is. It is the United way. It's people who know the way the club plays. And what better player to do it than Giggs? I just think it's too much of a risk to do now. Give us your thoughts, get commenting, drop us a like if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll have the Tottenham preview coming up tomorrow. And also got a little surprise for on Thursday night live. Do join in for us on that. And some other stuff coming up on Friday. So thanks for watching. I like to just throw the debates out there. I was thinking about this Giggs thing, and you know what? If it was Van Gaal sacked and Giggs, I'd take it every day of the week. Obviously, I'd take Mourinho though as well. But I just think, let's start thinking a little bit deeper about it. it's not as simple as just let's get Jose Mourinho. There are risks with that as well. Thanks everybody for watching. Speak to you all soon.